Greetings, my new species of human beings in a new age. You still fellow ascenders because we will keep on breaking through. We must break through these walls. Okay? I'm talking metaphorically. We're not literally breaking walls. This will be a short one, but I felt like it's important. The distinction between religion and spirituality, specifically Gnosis. Gnosis spelled with the Gnosis. So Gnosis, by my understanding now, is knowledge that you embody. It's not just information that you're given and you can recite or regurgitate or know in terms of knowing that a kettle is for boiling water. Yes, that is, you can say that is knowing, but gnosis is much more personal. It encompasses all parts of you because as a human being, we are multidimensional beings. We're not just a physical. You have a physical body, an astral body, a light body. Okay, let me make it very simple. You have a physical body, you have your emotional body, you have your mental body. The mental one is controlled by your central nervous system, right? So the nerves, CNS. Your emotional is controlled by your endocrine system, so that's hormones, right? And then your physical, well, it has a lot of systems, but you know them. Your heart beating, your lungs getting in air, your thingy, your kidneys filtering all the toxins and all of that. In these multi-dimensional bodies of yours, or states of yours, if you can put it like that, you know that your heart is beating because you feel it and you hear it beating, right? In the emotional body, you know that you sad because you actually feel it viscerally, and you maybe you crying, or your state is kind of disturbed or determined by that emotion. And then mentally, thoughts, you know, if you're thinking or you're imagining, you know you're in your mental state. So we can say that is gnosis. In religion, what happens is, I describe it as a set of rules for a program that is installed in you that will continuously run automatically without your knowledge sometimes. And then when you interact, maybe in church, with your conscious understanding that you're there, but it's still not something you know for sure. Because I'm not going to say with every person that is in religion. I can't put everyone in one umbrella. I'm just talking about the systems themselves. because usually in religion, you are not encouraged to question. You just need to take what the pastor says and believe it. Otherwise, you'll go to hell. So that's why you follow what the pastor's saying. Not because it's something that you know deep inside of you, viscerally or emotionally or mentally, with certainty as to why this is done like this, or why that exists, or why maybe Christ was saying things like this. You could know the whole Bible, but then you could study, or you could learn the whole Bible, let me say it like that, but not know it. Whereas in Gnosis, which was what the esoteric groups that were persecuted by the church or religion, yes, it was during the Roman Empire, and were called heretic, and some of them burned, where they were dealing with gnosis and not religion. And the reason why they could sacrifice even their lives, their faith couldn't budge. Even when they told, we'll burn you now if you don't convert to our pagan religion, they said, you'd rather burn me. I heard, I think it was Peter or something, that actually was going to be crucified, and he had a choice. He could just say, okay, I'm leaving this whole thing of gnosis and esoterics. I'll do whatever you say so that you don't crucify me. No, all of the initial followers of Christ after his crucifixion were so determined and adamant on following truth instead of going into an institutionalized religion that they had to follow a program in, at the expense of them being tortured and killed. Now, why would you do that? It's because you know what you're practicing. You're not just following it because you were born in that religion and your parents took you to church every Sunday. It's something that you can attest and testify about because you felt it viscerally, you understood it completely in your mind. It was an experience for you. It wasn't just doing it for the sake of doing it, just so you're safe that you'll go to heaven when you die. In Gnosis, the main difference was the fact that they encouraged questioning. In fact, if you did not question, then you were taking it as dogma, and therefore you were not accomplishing the aim of Gnosis. And Yeshua Christ, now well known as Jesus, was teaching esoteric knowledge, gnosis, to his disciples. He preached or taught everyone that was willing, but it was more on the surface because the masses that time were still under the indoctrination, and in order for you to know something and make it a part of you, your soul and your heart has to agree. It has to say, yes, I'm in it for this. But if you're doing it because it's what's done in a certain day, you could be a spy for all they knew, a spy for the Roman Empire or for the Pharisees, the Jewish Pharisees that time, which were against what Yeshua was doing, because he was taking people away from their traditional religion, which gave powers to the leaders, which were the Pharisees and all of that. And later on, when the Roman Empire converted to Christianity, and then there was the Council of Nicaea, which chose which scriptures should be destroyed and which scriptures should remain. They made it a program, a religion. Now it wasn't about learning all that knowledge so that you make it a part of you, so that you know it viscerally. In the Epistles of Sophia, they speak about some of the teachings, the secret teachings that Yeshua was doing with his disciples, the 12 disciples, because they were determined, they were in it for to know, not just to, okay, it's interesting, let me compare between this religion and see if which one I'll choose. That's when you are not fully there. You're only there on the surface level, which means that you working with your frontal cortex only, but also it's not so much engaged as it being you, because you just taking in, as it's said, almost like cramming, I could say that. So spirit that way is not evoked, because your spirit, as much as it makes up everything that exists in this universe, and it makes up you and is the deeper part of you, that it is deep within. We cannot point in the body where it is specifically, because it's in every cell, but you cannot see it physically because it's on a dimension that is much deeper than what the surface can see, or what the surface shows you, which means that you have to go deep within yourself, in these layers of yourself, in the dimensions. You have to first understand it mentally, fully understand it, not just know, be able to recite it or know which verse is where. Know it like it is a part of you. It's something you live. When that happens, it goes to the next level, which is now your emotional body, where certain practices that you practice, or certain scriptures that you read, will evoke certain emotions, which means even physically the endocrine system gets involved, where certain hormones will be released to give you a certain state, get an elevated state. And that's when they say that you are in spirit, right? The emotions, they elevate you, and then you get to a state, you still you. Another person that looks at you will just see you like nothing as different, until they maybe see look clearly at your facial expressions, and maybe you'll have certain things that you do with your body now to express what you're feeling or where you are. You're in the unseen that time, the Amun. When you've got there, it means that now this thing You know it. You don't just subscribe to it. You know it as yourself, as part of yourself. So nobody, no matter which position they are in, can tell you that it's not true. With religion, if another person comes and tells you about their religion, if you could take away your fear of hell, you could understand them more than what you do in your church. Okay, let's not make it different religion. Let's just make it one religion, Christianity, because it has a lot of different churches and denominations, right? What is this called? Domination. It's fine. It has a lot of different churches. There's the Anglican, the Apostolic, the Catholic. You can switch from one to the next according to what you see as better, right? So, which means that whatever that you were doing there in your church, you knew it as a program that you subscribed in. You didn't know it as a part of yourself, as something that you live. And I'm not saying it's wrong to switch churches. No, that's not the point. You can do that according to what your spirit leads you to. What I'm trying to make you understand is that how do I explain this? Okay, let me just go back where I was. You can switch from this church to this church, but if you are learning esoteric knowledge, the gnosis, and now you know it, you cannot switch to anything else, even if you wanted to, because you know that you are lying to yourself. Your body will tell you, you felt it in your body, your emotions, your endocrine system will tell you, your spirit within will tell you, even your light body, because it actually vibrates in situations where your mental parts is not even involved, but because this thing is within you now, it vibrates by itself. How can you dispute something that all of your dimensional selves agreed with and experienced, and say that it is not true, it's not real, maybe something else is real? This is why they couldn't turn them. But if you notice now with religion, it's easy to think if somebody would come with a gun in your church, like AK-47s, and be like, we will shoot you all down now if you don't stop coming to this church. Is there going to be a single person that says, you would rather shoot me, I'm not changing my church? There will not be. They will, unless they are mentally impaired. There would not be. Everyone would move and be like, why didn't you just say so? You didn't have to come with the gun or anything. We'll move out. And then they're like, no, but you don't go to any other church. You just stop going to church. You'd be like, fine with me. I'll just be at home. Why is that? Because it's something you subscribe to. So it's like a club that you decided to go to because now you're scared of hell. But if immediate danger of death comes to you right there now, you'd forget about all of that. Why is that? Because you don't know it. It's not gnosis. It's something that you told and you swallow. Christ was not here to create a religion. Yeshua Christ was not a Christian, but now his followers are called Christians, and now it's a religion that has certain programs and orders and dates of when you go to it and all of that. He didn't say that he didn't teach on a specified date in the week and a Sunday only in a certain building and in certain prescribed ways. Under the tree here, the people, souls who want to learn, he'd be there, teach on a Wednesday, on a Tuesday. Why? Because it's something that was in him, that he knew, that he lived. And even those people that are there to learn, it's something that evokes all of what they are and becomes it. That's when you now know the Most High, when you know God. Instead of treating him as a subscription. He said that if you love me, you will follow my teachings. But what is church doing now? If he was advocating against people being indoctrinated into certain religions that they have to subscribe to instead of know the knowledge of spirit in, but they're now using his name, they form the exact same thing that he was trying to take people out of. How are you following his teachings that way? It's just something to think about. I'm not saying anyone should stop going to their churches. No, it's possible that a person could go and be subscribing to that religion, but actually studies it and has known it and has turned it into gnosis. It's possible, although the chances are very small because now there's a program running, and a program fights with consciousness. Because if you're conscious, then you can break a program. A program cannot control you if you're conscious. And to know something, you have to be conscious. It can't be both. You can't be in the program and be conscious at the same time. I hope you'll get what I mean. I love you all. And I know you're all trying your best. I'm just trying to make you see in another way of where you might be getting robbed in your spirituality. I'm not against any religion or any church. I'm just against indoctrination. Be kind. Love each other. Bye-bye.